Hello and welcome back to Tyre Talk F1. We are back in the studio, and what better race to do it than for the Singapore Grand Prix? It was an absolute barnstormer. It's the first race in 10 Max Verstappen didn't win, first race in 15 that Red Bull didn't win. He wasn't even on the podium this week, so great weekend, great race. But first of all, Dan, how you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be back in the studio. It's good to be face to face with you again, talk about some Formula 1.
We've been waiting a long time for this. What about you, Matty?
I prefer Zoom.
You prefer brilliant.
Getting out of bed, pyjamas still on, open the laptop, and just seeing your ugly faces.
Oh,
but we're back in person. I finally touches. But
you're real.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
ready
nice.
to go. Another year of uni as well.
Yeah, we're starting uni in like 2 weeks, basically because of strike, so that's really fun. But we're all moved in. We are back to hopefully normal for a bit. But yeah, like I said, Singapore was just an unbelievable race. It's Ferrari's first win since Austria 2022. And I'll hit you with another little stat bomb as well. Lewis Hamilton is now the only driver in the top 3 teams to have not won a race since 2021. What a stat that is. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
So that's a song out, you know.
Lewis Hamilton is the only driver in the top 3 teams to have not won a race since 2021.
It just shows that the grid's changing, isn't it? The experienced drivers are there's new boys in town, you know what I mean?
Lewis Hamilton is not good anymore, eh? Is that the news? Is that the headline?
He's still probably the GOAT.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
just sometimes.
I mean, Russell had him on ropes this weekend.
Yeah, he did until the final lap.
Until the final, until what was it, turn 14 final
Wasn't
lap?
Hamilton faster than him?
No. Russell was faster.
Some would say, if Hamilton was in front of Russell, he would have won the race.
Some would say if Lewis just out-qualified Russell, then he wouldn't have been behind him in the first
You
place.
can't-
That's why qualifying is so
Matty,
important.
that doesn't mean anything, though.
No.
You could say that if Russell was in front of Norris on the SAINZ, he would have won the race.
No, I'm saying that Lewis was the faster Mercedes that race.
I don't think he was. I thought Russell was the reason he was in front is because he was faster. He got in front of him in qualifying, and stayed in front of him in the race. And he was fast. He looked like, I mean, he needed to overtake Lando on 59 latest really, when he missed his opportunity, and then it was just got unlucky on the last lap. But I thought it was brilliant. Other than that last lap, he really is going back to it. Did you hear what he said in this post-race interview?
No.
He said that it's sort of Singapore sums up the season for Mercedes, and for him personally, he feels like even though he drove really well, one tiny little mistake, literally by a couple of centimetres, was enough to just derail the whole race for him.
Felt so bad when he was crying as well, really.
What, like a couple of years ago? Was it?
I thought on with Jordan Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the interview where he's crying because he got a point?
No, yesterday.
Was he crying?
Yeah, just see his interview after the race.
Yeah, but I didn't think he was
He
crying.
wasn't crying, but like, he was about to cry.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
He had like tears in his eyes.
Yeah, you can understand that. He thought he was going to win the race at one
And
point.
according to like Ted Kravitz, he was actually crying. That's what he said.
Yeah, but we all know how much of a stirrer Ted Kravitz can be, which is it's his job. Either way, you can't blame him too much.
Did he call himself a rookie as well?
Yeah, he said that about himself.
Yeah.
He said such a rookie or something. You know, when he's
Well,
like on the
am I a
radio after the
rookie?
race.
That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Did he say, "Am I a rookie?"
What am I, a rookie?
Damn. I feel like he's quite a, what's the word, like a self-critical driver.
He was harsh on himself, but also his ass did fall out.
Yeah.
He was following Lando, wasn't he? Because I don't know if you saw Lando hit the wall.
Yeah.
He took the same line as him, but he clouted it harder and went straight on like an
Yeah.
idiot.
Lando said that, didn't he? He said that he was probably watching my back wheel in that corner, and he just followed him into it, and just I can't imagine they hit the wall any different, but he must have just been unlucky. He got flat, and then obviously he couldn't turn at that point.
Well, his back, I think his rear right clipped it, and then, like I say, it just destabilised, just went straight on. And like in Singapore, if you go straight on, you're going straight into the wall, aren't you? Really?
F1's fun, isn't it? What Verstappen?
You say that, but I don't know if you saw what Christian Horner said. If the safety car didn't come out when it did, apparently Max's pace would have been enough to put him in the hunt for the win.
Really?
Yeah.
And Perez was so far off as well.
Perez was garbage, wasn't he?
It has been all season. Well, not all season.
Pretty much all season, yeah. One of my questions here is, and I know that it won't happen, but who should replace? Who's the perfect driver? I know we spoke about this before, but who's the perfect driver to replace Perez?
Fingers, yeah. Sonoda, Ricciardo, stays at AlphaTauri, yeah. Liam Lawson goes to Red Bull.
Straight up to Red Bull.
No.
No, it's, I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it? 'Cause you want someone
No,
quick, but you also need someone who's not going to disrupt Max too much.
No, that Red Bull seat, like, if you're like a world-class driver, yeah, don't go to Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because that second seat, like Mercedes have 2 number 1 drivers, don't they? No one's number 2. Red Bull, they only care about Verstappen. They build the whole team around Verstappen, the car around Verstappen. So if you go to that Red Bull seat, just know that you are going to be like a bench player. Really. So I can't see anyone good going. Maybe someone who's just starting a career might go. I need to boost their career.
I can see it being the other way around. Someone who's sort of coming towards the end of their career who knows that they're not necessarily going to be fighting for a championship, but is good enough to be in a fast car potentially. I mean, it's already happened and not worked, but I feel like Albon actually wouldn't be a terrible shout at this point if he keeps driving like he is.
Nah, he won't go. I think that ship sailed. No, he won't go.
I know it won't happen, but I'm saying he's sort of. I feel like he's the right build now, because you can't really. I don't think he. I'm not sure. I don't think he would be a world championship contender, but I think he'd be good enough if he drives like he has this season to get like car more regularly onto the podium, and just being faster than Perez.
On the other side, you can put someone to challenge Verstappen and like push him out to the number 1 spot.
I feel like they just need someone who's quick over one lap, because the race pace takes care of itself in the Red Bull.
Yeah, that's true.
And Perez's all of his problems come from qualifying out of position every week. So if you've got someone, I know they probably would never do it, but if you put like Nico Hülkenberg in there, who's a notoriously quick qualifier, stick him in the Red Bull. He's never going to challenge Verstappen over a season, but he's not going to be qualifying like 12th and 13th in the fastest car on the grid. So like, they just need someone who's, like say, over one lap can stick it even like 4th or 5th, and then the Red Bull will just take care of itself.
Get Ricciardo back in it.
Oh, absolutely not. I love him, but just get him in the commentary booth. Just get him out of the car. Get Tsunoda and Lawson into AlphaTauri. Huh?
It's time to retire for him.
Yeah.
I think he should move over. I think it's time. Like, I like him. Everyone likes Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see if they get rid of Tsunoda for Ricciardo, I'll be upset.
Yeah, because I've seen. Yeah, apparently the rumor is that it's going to be. Yeah, because obviously Lawson's been a bit too good to not keep. But they're saying this Tsunoda that's going to get dropped. So he was unbelievable in the first half of the season.
I just think Tsunoda's been unlucky the last 2 races.
He's been stiff, hasn't he?
The last race before this one, he didn't start. Then he got a puncher in this race.
Yeah. He's completed like 1 lap over the last 2 weeks.
It's not really his fault. Not even that.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't do a lap.
Yeah. So it's tough for him. But I think if he actually, it wouldn't surprise me if he got dropped. It's a Red Bull team, isn't it? So they're going to be ruthless, and he has been. He's just not been finishing races, and I guess they don't really care why. If you're not getting results,
it's about perspective, isn't it? But like I say, Red Bull don't think with perspective a lot of the time.
No.
But if he was to go, maybe Williams would be a shout for Tsunoda.
Yeah, because Sargent is. I mean, he still hasn't got a seat for next season. It's not looking good, is it?
No, because like he is their driver, isn't he? He's part of the academy, but also he was Jos Capito's driver, wasn't he? He was there before Val's got in. I don't know if Val particularly rates him. And like I said, they're building a team around Albon. They should keep Albon no matter what. But like they're fighting with one hand tied behind the back. Because even Haas, like Magnussen scored a point this week, and AlphaTauri have got Lawson scoring a point now, and Joe and Bottas are pretty equal. Williams are the only team where it's literally one driver scoring all the points. There's no Sargent still not out-qualified Albon yet.
No,
I put a bold statement out here. I think if Sargent does lose his seat, I think he would have kept it if Liam Lawson didn't race in F1
I disagree.
this season.
I disagree.
Because Lawson's came in 3 races, he got 2 points yesterday, so he showed like what he can really do. And the AlphaTauri is the worst car in the grid, let's be honest.
Yeah, but Sargent has just been bad. I don't think it's anything to do with Lawson. He was bad before Lawson came in.
I just think Lawson's put some pressure on him now.
Well, so you think that if Lawson wasn't in, then Sargent would have a better chance of keeping his seat next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree.
I think Lawson showed what rookies can actually do.
I think everyone knows what rookies can already do.
Because look at Piastri, obviously he's in a better car than every single rookie on the grid.
But I think Lawson coming in hasn't changed anything for Sargent. I think the spotlight was already on him as a Williams driver, and he's already been pulled.
Driving for Williams, though, isn't it?
It doesn't matter. You still have to perform.
Nah, look at Latifi in that.
Yeah, but he scored points though.
Yeah.
And also he got dropped because he was bad.
No disrespect to Latifi, he was the GOAT.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
But you can't compare. Like, Sargent has been. He was actually okay. I thought he was relatively consistent because that Williams was one of the slowest cars on the grid for a while. But ever since the Williams got faster, like since Spa, when it was a literal rocket ship, he's crashed a couple of times. You know, he's not performing. I don't think Lawson's
It's not that he's not
Is that what
good
you'd
enough either,
expect
though.
in a rookie season?
No, but he's thrown away points on his own. Like, in the one for me is the Dutch Grand Prix. Like, he got into Q3, he was really good, and then he's binned it. Obviously in the race it wasn't his fault, but in qualifying he binned it as soon as he got in Q3. In Singapore he binned it when I think how many people DNF, was it 6 people DNF maybe? So there's opportunity there.
Oh yeah, and you got and as an F1 driver, it doesn't matter whether you're rookie or not, you have to take those opportunities. And we've seen before in previous seasons, even this season, just how good rookies can be. Even ignoring Lawson with Piastri, he's been brilliant.
Piastri's generational though, isn't he?
Yeah, he was brilliant this weekend as well, which we can get on into a minute.
You can also argue he's got a better car.
Pardon?
You can also argue he's got a better car than him now.
Yeah, but
even when the McLaren was a dog at the start of the season, Piastri was clearly the best rookie.
And also, no one's saying that Piastri's better than Logan Sargent because he's finishing higher in the grid. They're saying it's because he's performing, he's overperforming with the car he's got. If Sargent was getting 10th place every week,
is he overperforming because Lando Norris?
But Piastri was really unlucky this
Piastri's close
weekend.
to the ceiling of the McLaren. I don't think Sargent's close to the ceiling of the Williams.
I don't think he's anywhere near it.
I just
Albon's
think
right
that's what
on
I
it.
expect in a rookie season.
Yeah,
No,
but you've not got time to. There's so much money on the table. You've not got time to just be nice to people.
If you're a rookie, you should have a season after your rookie season.
I agree with that. I like giving them a chance, but
you've got a whole season to have a chance.
No, but like,
you got 23 races.
You should have a season after the rookie season to see like.
Yeah, I do agree. I don't agree with just chopping and changing drivers all the time. But like, if you're Williams now, you've got like this is a good opportunity to push up. Like, if they can finish P7 in the constructors this year, it'll be really big for them. And if they don't do it because Sargent scored 0 points, like, you know,
you have to drop him.
You've got to drop him, yeah. But I do like giving rookies a chance, but I also think he's not James Vowles' man. He didn't appoint him in the first place. He's not part of his plan for Williams. He was already there. So, like I say, if he wants to take the team in a different direction, I would trust Vowles because of what he's doing with the team already. So if he wants to drop him for like, even if they got Tsunoda, that'll be such an upgrade, and that could take them forward to like. You could see them finishing at 6th, couldn't you?
As well. Probably be an upgrade for Tsunoda as well.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I completely disagree that there should be a season after the rookie season.
I think that should new rule.
No,
it's only fair though, isn't it? If he's had a proper awful season,
he has.
Maybe drop him.
He has had a proper awful season. Let me give you my reasons because you're not really listening to me yet. So, if you were to say this season was Yuki Tsunoda's rookie season, then you wouldn't say it was a bad season because of the fact that he's had so many things that are out of his control that many drop points. Sargent has not been anywhere near like outperforming that car. And he has been so poor. He's been throwing away points. He's been crashing, and yeah, it's unfortunate. It's his rookie season, but there's so much money going on in Formula One that you can't because effectively your reasoning for giving him a chance is to be nice to him.
To be honest, Joe,
he's not been good. And there are so many drivers waiting. So many. I mean, if you're talking about giving people a chance, you're saying give the current driver a chance. He's got his chance. He unfortunately for him, he's kind of wasted it.
I think when
there are so many F2 drivers waiting to go.
On a rookie though, if you're in an awful car, there's so much pressure. If you're a rookie.
Yeah, but everyone knows how well you're. Even if you're not scoring points, if you're on the worst car on the grid, but you're still doing okay, and you get the odd Q2 or maybe even Q3 appearance, that's enough for people to say, look, yeah, he's not bad. Even though it's in the worst car, he's still doing all right.
He comes top 10 next race.
I want him to. I really want him to succeed because, like,
if he gets top 10 next race, go or stay.
No, you can't base it on one race. Like,
I'd probably still say go.
It depends. He needs to give it till the end of the season. They shouldn't make a decision until after Abu Dhabi. They need to look at it over the season, see who's available, because by then we'll have a new F2 champion, probably Porsche, but we don't know. You've got, say, Drugovic is still waiting. He's an F2. Like when you've got two potential F2 champions sat off the grid, and Sargent who finished fourth, I think, in F2 when Drugovic won it. I think it was fourth. And the fact that he's on the grid, and I say Porsche, Vesti, and Drugovic won't be, I think it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, if you're talking about giving drivers a chance, Sargent's had his chance, and he's having his chance now, and he's not doing a whole lot with it. Whereas you've got, Drugovic is there waiting. At the very least, Drugovic is there, and I'm sure he would. If Williams said, "Yeah, do you want to come drive for us? You've not got to see anywhere else," he would jump at that chance.
Because he's in the most pointless job in the world, isn't he?
Yeah.
The Aston Martin young driver program.
Would you like a Schumacher back in the car?
No.
No, but I mean,
Boys, how are we nearly 10 minutes into this and we haven't spoke about the winner?
Yeah.
Let's get on to it then.
Last episode, we did say he's the most underrated driver on the grid. Back-to-back
polls. I want to say it now, I've been backing Carlos Sainz since day one.
Back-to-back polls. He's finally won this one.
He's turned a corner,
This is
hasn't he,
second
since
win,
the summer break.
ever.
Yeah, second win ever.
And when the first one, he got it after the race finished.
No, he won Silverstone on his own.
No, but when is something was that a podium? I think it was a podium.
Oh, yeah, that was his first podium.
What was his first race? What was his first win, sorry?
Silverstone last year.
For some reason in my head, it wasn't him that won that. I remember because he was near the front. I know he got pole that week.
He got pole, and then they boxed him and didn't box Leclerc, and then Sainz overtook Leclerc, and then Leclerc held up Hamilton, and Perez never that massive scrap pole. Sainz was up the road or something.
Yeah, I just remembered that wrong. Yeah, no, he was brilliant this weekend.
I think that's the best I've ever seen him drive.
He was absolutely phenomenal. Dominated qualifying as well. He
dominated the whole weekend. He was P1 in every session apart from FP1. He, like I said, I was talking, I don't know if I told you, but he's the only one, him and Alonso, who could have managed that situation in that Ferrari, use Lando the way that he did. Because I think Leclerc would have tried to shoot off up the road. Maybe Max would have DRS, but Max would have probably just backed himself to shoot off.
Max would have just shot off. He wouldn't have tried and failed. He would have just gone.
No, but in the Ferrari, with that tyre disadvantage, he wouldn't have been able to just shoot off.
Does Max have a driver IQ?
I think he does.
Or is he just fast?
No, he's both.
He's both.
So I seen a debate on... No, I'm just saying. I just seen a debate on Twitter yesterday.
I'll say
people were saying that...
He's not as smart as Carlos, but
some people saying that Max has no... he just... Obviously, you've got to have some IQ to be, basically 3-time world champion now, really. But people are saying, no, he's just quick.
No, I don't think he's quite... It seems to be the Spanish or drivers that just, they just... know what's going on. He's usually deciding his own strategy, isn't he, Carlos? And it really annoyed me when the commentators were like, "Oh, he's focusing on Lando. Why isn't he focusing on George and Lewis? Because they've got the red up Mercedes ass."
Yeah.
Obviously, he's using Lando for the DRS to protect himself.
Did he help Lando, or was he just using?
No, he was using him.
He was using him.
It could have been anyone. He would have used him like that.
So when people are going, he made him get all this, it just used him.
Yeah.
I must say, I did wonder if because there was every chance he could have just tried to shoot off and hope that Lando would have defended and held them up.
But he wouldn't have been able to. That's the.
There's every chance he would try to.
I think he saw how quickly they passed Leclerc, and I think he also knew that the McLaren couldn't overtake him because they weren't quicker than the Ferrari. So if he just kept him in the DRS, makes it impossible for the Mercedes to get past or without doing something stupid.
I think
George.
I do genuinely think this kind of summed up Ferrari's season in the sense that Carlos had a plan and he knew exactly what he was doing, and then the Ferrari strategist were he's in your DRS, and he was like, yeah, no,
it's on purpose. I know.
I'm doing that deliberately. It just showed that they are how are they so clueless?
He's operating on a different level of intelligence to the entire Ferrari pit wall, isn't he? And he's the one driving around sweltering Singapore at 200 mile an hour, trying not to hit the wall. And then they're telling him, break Lando's DRS. No, just let him. He's cooking. Let him cook.
Yeah.
Who is the number one driver for Ferrari at this moment in time?
I don't think they have one.
I don't think they have one.
Because I think Monza showed they didn't have one because they let them fight each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they literally say something like you can fight till the end or something?
Yeah,
or was
you
that
fight till the end, no risk.
Yeah.
That's what they said in Monza.
I love that though. I really like that, and I actually think that's fair because Leclerc's had by his standards, probably a pretty poor season.
It's been circumstantial again, hasn't it? I think,
but I still think he could have done better.
Yeah, Carlos has had that peak now, hasn't he? As well, he's come to Monza, got pole. So if unless Leclerc really pulls his finger out in the next couple of races, it looks like Sainz is going to beat him this season, and it'll be the second time in 3 years as teammates that he's won. If it's a big if, Ferrari were to challenge for the championship, would you back Sainz?
As the number one driver?
Not even in the number driver, just to take it in a championship fight. Do you reckon he could do it?
Yeah.
What do you go first?
I think Leclerc makes too many mistakes. I don't think Sainz does. I think Sainz has the brains. I think Leclerc rushes a bit and he's got a mistake in him. Let's just say that.
I think Sainz is one of the most consistent drivers on the grid, and he's probably been the most consistent driver on the grid this season. And I think it could be a situation where, was it 2012 when Alonso won very few races, but he was on the podium every race, and it meant that he was very, very close to winning the championship. I think it could be like that. If Sainz was going to do it, I don't think he's good enough to win every race. But I think he's definitely good enough that he can be in and around winning for every race and get a lot of podiums, especially if he's in a car that is as fast as it was this weekend, and is as competitive as that. 100% he could be in there.
It seems to me as well that he's really tightened up over one lap. Leclerc used to slap him in qualifying, but he looks to really have got a handle on that now.
I think Sainz is better. I think I back Sainz more than Leclerc to push Ferrari to be better.
I think we're being harsh on Leclerc, to be fair.
I really like Leclerc, and I think he's...
I think he's...
Over one lap, he's absolutely magic. Sainz has been absolutely exceptional to beat him in qualifying in the last two races, and even then it was less than a tenth both times. But, like I say, he has got a mistake in him. But he's mercurial, isn't he? And they have built the team around him. They picked him, didn't they, from a really early age. He's the one that we want to lead Ferrari. So I feel like maybe they expected Sainz to not be as close. And I think 2022 definitely showed, if it comes down to it, Leclerc can just grand slam, dunk on everyone's head. Yeah.
He's definitely got the pace in him.
I don't think we've seen that out of Sainz quite yet. This weekend was definitely his best weekend, Sainz, but we haven't seen, remember Australia last 2022 where no one was on Leclerc's level that weekend. And I don't think we've quite seen that from Sainz yet.
No. But I think that's partly because of the car so far. He's not really had until this weekend and last weekend, he's not had a car that is certainly good enough to win a race, other than possibly 2022 for some of that. But
he
even
wasn't really comfortable, was he, in the 2022 car?
No.
He said it himself. It took him, by the time he got used to it, Red Bull was so much quicker than them. They'd already lost basically any chance to win the championship. Yeah,
and also in that season, Leclerc was probably the number one driver. More certainly
until France,
driver.
I think he was operating at such a high level, wasn't he, Leclerc? But I think that's destroyed. Even now, I still think he's suffering from it. I think that really got to him.
Yeah. So do we think then that... so another one of my big talking points is Red Bull definitely did not look bulletproof this weekend. Obviously, both cars knocked out in Q2. That's pretty poor. That especially considering that's a car that has won 15 races in a row. That's pretty shocking. So it shows they're not bulletproof.
It's shocking for Max.
Do we think that we will get... it's very early to say, but do you reckon we'll get a big championship fight next year?
No, I think Max's redemption story next race, I think he's just going to absolutely lap the whole field.
He did say, didn't he, that he wants to win by 20 seconds next week just to prove a point.
Yeah. I think we can all hope that there'll be a challenge.
Yeah, I live in delusion until Bahrain that Ferrari can pull the finger out of their ass.
I think maybe a 2-car challenge. I can't see any being any more than that.
What do you think about McLaren? Do you reckon they could go a step further?
I think they can. They've got one of the best drivers on the grid.
It was 2 seasons ago. They finished 3rd in the constructors. Then they finished 4th. Then just dropped off. Yeah, but now they're bringing it back a bit.
To me,
look, Aston Martin last season. Yeah. All season they were awful. Back end of it, they were getting there. Then now look at them now.
To be fair though, they've shown McLaren that in this generation of car they can slap an upgrade on a car and gain 4 tenths. Yeah. Because they've done that twice now. I think their car's probably about second and a half quicker than it was at the start of the season.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that Norris and Piastri is probably one of the best drivers on the grid. Both of them are rapid, good in qualifying, consistent. There's sometimes areas of other drivers that lack, but I feel like that's a very complete driver lineup. And if the car's as fast as it is at the moment, they could definitely be getting regular podiums and stuff.
Where do you think Aston Martin will be next season?
It's hard. I want to say that they've shifted to next year and that this is just a blip, But while Stroll is there, it's Alonso. Where's he going to be, isn't it, really? And like you look at McLaren, I think McLaren will be above them again next year. I think if they finish 5th, they'll have had a good season next year.
I hope there's a 4-way battle, maybe a 5, but that's pushing it a bit.
I think the thing is with like Mercedes, for example, even if they were to challenge Red Bull, I think George and Lewis would end up tripping over each other. I think that showed, even in Singapore, they were like George in Lewis's way, maybe holding him up because Lewis was saying he could have won if George let him through.
Would you be happy if another team dominated the whole season? Or would you just feel the same?
It depends, because I feel like if it was like,
let's say Ferrari dominated the whole season.
As long as it's not, I want it to be someone new. So if Mercedes turn up and Lewis starts winning again every week, I'd be a bit like, great.
It's like Ferrari or McLaren.
So if McLaren, it'd be
if
really
McLaren
exciting.
start dominating the season, I think everyone would be.
Because
That'd
even if
cool.
McLaren start dominating, because it's not like at Red Bull where Perez reeks.
Yeah.
Like Piastri would give it a good go. He'd win a couple of races at least.
If McLaren was the dominant car and it was Norris versus Piastri for the title,
Norris would win, but it would be a lot closer than Perez's run for Verstappen this year.
that would be such that Norris versus Piastri for the title would be so sick.
Here's one for you though. If I'd say even if Red Bull have the quickest car, but it's not by as much, do you think Perez could cost them the constructors next year? If he's operating at this level and he's qualifying behind both.
What if all the cars around?
Yeah, so let's say Red Bull are quickest, but then you've got McLaren and Ferrari, and Perez is qualifying behind all of them every week, which he is doing pretty much every week anyway.
I mean, that he would cost them the constructors. And at that point,
every week though.
Yeah, but even then, like over a course season, that would cost them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if Max has got any semblance of anywhere near the fastest car, he would win.
I think
majority of races.
If the season like that next season, I think halfway through Perez was gone.
Yeah.
I don't see him. Well, I think they'd keep him for the whole season out of respect, and I think at the end of the season they'd drop him.
Respect.
It depends.
Respect.
No, but I think Perez is a one-off case. They should have dropped him this season. He's been terrible this season. They should have dropped. If we're going off the ruthless Red Bull standards, then you'd think they would have dropped him. The
problem Red Bull have is they haven't got they've got all these junior drivers, but they don't look like they've got anyone really capable of stepping up to the top team. So Perez for now is a stopgap, isn't he? Until they find either
he's a stepping stone.
If they can either get Lando out of McLaren, which probably isn't going to happen.
No, I think next season will be Perez's last season. I think we all know he's not going to be fast enough. But I think if he actually costs them the constructors, which could happen if these other teams step up, then I think at that point Christian will have to shake his hand and say thanks for your time.
I'd love to see Ferrari just be so good next season.
I just want a good battle. We've seen 2 seasons of just pure dominance and disappointment from Ferrari, mostly like 2022, and this year's just been who's going to come second, or who's going to come second because Perez is off in Neverland, and I hope it would be so cool to see next season a proper battle.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool, especially if it's like 3 people, like Perez and then maybe like I don't know, one of the Red Bull, one of the Ferraris and one of the McLaren or something. 4-way
battle, at the top. Red Bull, Merc, Ferrari, McLaren. You got to pick one driver from each of them who you're going to battle it out. Who do you think?
Well,
Max.
Verstappen, Norris.
Verstappen,
George.
Norris, Hamilton.
SAINZ.
I feel like both Ferraris would be involved.
I feel like both
Mercs would be involved as well.
I would sway to Leclerc just because, like I say, he's got that mercurial 1-lap pace, and if the cars are close together, like the quarter of a second he can pull out of his ass for no reason can be the difference between like 7th and pole. If Sainz is qualifying like 6th and Leclerc's on pole because he's so good over 1 lap, I think that would make the difference.
But I can see it being that like if there were four cars in a battle, I feel like Sainz is the type of driver to just always manage to keep his hands clean. Whereas I feel like Leclerc wouldn't shock me if he gets in a tussle every now and then and drops big points.
For me, the ideal title fight would be Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc and Alonso. Because they're the 5 best drivers on the grid for me. All in separate cars. If, like say, Aston Martin pull the finger out again, McLaren maintain the trajectory, Red Bull obviously be quick. I think we all know Mercedes are going to be quick next year. And it's just, like I say, Ferrari, God willing, don't do something stupid.
Was it 2012 again where the first 7 races had 7 different winners? Like, it'd be so cool if we get a situation like that where like you genuinely, because when we do our predictions, it's always Verstappen first, Perez second, probably, and
not
then
me though.
Huh?
Not me.
Yeah, not you, but you always get it wrong.
I
So,
go Ocon first.
but it'd be so cool if like every time we do a prediction, like one of us saying Verstappen, then Charles, and then one of us saying like Sainz, then George. Proper get to mix it up, and because it'd be so interesting if you just don't know who's going to win. And you go into at the moment, every qualifying session is right. When's Max going to get his lap together, or not so much this weekend, but usually it's like that. Whereas next season, if we get a qualifying session like we did this weekend, it would just be amazing every weekend.
Even then, even in this, we keep like this has been the best race of the year. Without the safety car, Verstappen would have been in the fight for the win. That's what Christian Horner said. His pace was there. He cut, was it 15 seconds to Leclerc in 6 laps?
Yeah, he was catching by 4 seconds a lap at the end.
He's absolutely flying. And like I say,
we're back again next week to do it all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will win next week in front of the Honda lads. I can't see anything other than a Verstappen win by about 20 seconds, to be honest.
So we move
Japan
on
as well,
to our last
Suzuka.
point then, boys. I think this might be a good debate, this. Actually, future world champions on the grid.
So how many drivers? So the question here is, how many drivers on the grid are future world champions?
So also we take out Max, Hamilton and Fernando.
Yeah, you can't count the ones that already won.
So
do we think George Russell will win a world championship? Yes or no, quickly?
Oh, that's a good. I reckon we can do that.
no.
No.
Okay. Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
Yes.
Charles Leclerc.
Yes.
Yes. Just.
Wait, not sounding too certain there. Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
Oh, that was very quick.
Yeah, I'll back him.
You said that. Your answer to that was a lot quicker than you saying yes to Leclerc. Why is that?
Again, he's got mistakes. I think
The mistakes.
I feel
think
like
Carlos is a well-rounded driver.
Yeah.
Leclerc isn't. Leclerc doesn't have the brains.
I feel like he'd need a Rosberg season though, like where a couple of mechanical DNFs for Leclerc.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Okay.
he needs to be on the top of his game.
I think if Leclerc wins, it'd be like what Dan said. It'd be the Ferraris battling, and qualifying Leclerc gets that wins.
Yeah.
Did you get me?
Okay, I'm gonna throw some curveballs in
You
there as
brought
well.
Lando Norris.
Oh yeah,
by the way.
Lando.
Yes.
Yes. See,
Okay.
my thing only. I think Lando, out of Lando and George, only one of them wins a world championship.
Okay.
I back Lando over George.
Yeah, so do I.
I definitely think George has got one in him.
It
Alex
depends.
Albon.
No.
I was gonna throw a couple
Curveballs.
I think he's not got the time for it anymore. I think there are so many drivers who are already established.
Unless
in
he
top
gets
seats.
unless Sainz goes to Audi and Ferrari reel him in. That's the only way I could see Albon winning him.
Come on, Joe, throw your curveballs in. I think I know who one of them is.
Yuki Tsunoda.
No.
No. What if the AlphaTauri
No.
they just cheat and use Red Bull's car from this year, and then just suddenly they're a really quick car?
Max Verstappen.
Ooh.
That's the problem with Yuki Tsunoda winning the world championship because he's going to be in the same car as Max.
I thought you were throwing Max Verstappen in.
No,
as
he's
a
already won the
curveball.
title,
Will he
hasn't he?
win another world championship? Ooh.
Here's one for you. How many will Max finish on?
Oh.
How many world
6.
titles?
I can see him finishing on 4 or 5.
No.
I don't think.
What year is it now?
He'll finish this
6.
year on 3.
I think after 2026 he's gone.
No, he's
Yeah,
got a
but
contract till 28 though.
No, but
Yeah, but I don't think he'll stay.
bang out of that. He's gone in.
But he'll want to go win Le Mans.
Yeah,
He'll
he's
want to
gone.
go and win. What's the other one?
He said he don't want to do the Indy 500.
Does he not?
No,
He'll go and win every other possible race because we already know he wants to do that, and he has done that in the virtual world at the
Liam
race.
Lawson.
Oh, that's a good one.
Joe Guan Yu.
How old is Liam Lawson?
Liam Lawson. That's
No,
He's He's right. He's like
How
he's
old
riding
is
a
he?
wave.
is he like 19 or 20?
No, he's like 22, I think. I watch F2 because I'm obviously superior to both of you.
because you've got nothing going on.
You
yet.
got
Yeah.
Tammy on.
And I love Liam Lawson. He got actually stiffed 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
He should have won the title in one of them, but he's not. I don't think he's Oscar Piastri level good.
No,
Really?
but do you,
No.
what did you say?
I said really.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen him for what? Is that 2 races?
But he
now?
does
3
deserve a
races?
seat in F1.
Oh
now.
yeah, but he's not a world champion
Yeah,
material.
he's been really good so far, but I think he could be.
You reckon he's top team material?
I reckon he'd do a job, second driver for a top team in a few years.
So you did you say yes to Carlos Sainz winning the world championship?
Yeah.
when Carlos Sainz was Liam Lawson's age, do you ever think you would have said yes to
When he's at
Carlos
McLaren.
Sainz, or
Yeah,
when
but
he
I
was,
was
or when he
better
was
than-
at when he was at Toro Rosso? Did you ever think there was any chance he was going to win it?
On McLaren, I would say no.
Let's be honest, you didn't.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
the
so hard.
car.
It's so hard to call. What if Liam Lawson? What if Verstappen does a shock retirement and Liam Lawson's had a good season and they're like, go on then, and then he,
Yeah,
and
but
then
I
he
feel like
bums
if
Perez.
they stuck.
It could happen.
I think Perez would be out of sport even way before.
I think next season will be
his.
his last season.
Once Verstappen leaves Red Bull, I think unless someone comes through, I don't see any of their current crop of drivers winning the title.
Yeah, but what if it's Lawson? Because you would never have said it about Sainz.
No.
You would have said it about Leclerc in his first season. You would.
No, I would have backed Leclerc. He had,
That's
he had
what
an
I
insane
meant.
rookie season.
That's what I meant. I meant you would never have said no to Leclerc in his first season. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, you would have 100% said this Carlos Sainz guy who has, like, he's not going to be in F1 for another 10 years.
Yeah, but his teammate was Verstappen. He got that was unfortunate. As soon as he moved to McLaren, he beat Norris, and then he went to Ferrari and beat Leclerc in his first season. He's always had that ability.
Yeah,
but do you honestly think you ever would have said he would have been world championship?
Yes or no question.
What, at Toro Rosso now?
Yeah, no.
I want a question for you, Dan. Yeah, this is my last question for the episode from me. Because you watch F2, can you see any F2 drivers being an F1 world champion?
Currently no. This is the worst F2 field I've seen in a long time.
There you go.
It's awful.
That's what I wanted to know.
Teo Porcher is the only potential maybe, like proper maybe, but even then he makes so many mistakes. He's in his third season of F2 now, and he's still like the only reason he's going to win the title this year is because Vesti got spun around in the last race when he was going to win it. So,
Boys, I lied to you. That won't be my last question.
All right.
I think this is my last question.
Go on then.
One each, yeah. Have you got any more questions? About
actually, I'm going to throw out there Ollie Behrman, world champion.
Right. This is my question. Next world champion.
Next new world champion.
Next new world champion.
That's impossible to call. So hard to call.
That's why we.
Lando Norris.
Do you really think he'll win one before one of the Ferrari drivers in a McLaren?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna back the boy with the back-to-back poles. I'm gonna back Carlos Sainz.
I feel like if it come down to it, I think Leclerc would win it first, and then Sainz would have like a Rosberg season once. I feel like Sainz is a maximum one championship.
I think it's so hard to call.
Come on, Joe.
Literally so hard to call.
Just a bold prediction. There's one name.
Okay, just as a bold prediction, and I'm gonna George Russell.
You think he's gonna
And
win?
the only reason I have no idea, but I don't think it's too ridiculous purely because of the fact that Mercedes are a team who know how to dominate the sport, and they've been they were untouchable for 7-8 years at the top, and even when Max won it, Hamilton should have won it. In terms of actual point scoring, but Verstappen deserves it. Either way, that's a whole different debate. But they still got the constructors that year, so they had 2 rapid cars, and I can very much see them getting back into the mould of knowing how to build a fast car and doing it again, building a rapid car, and then I don't know whether George and Hamilton would fight. I think over the course of the season, Hamilton probably haven't, but I feel like...
So your answer is George Russell?
Yeah, why not?
I feel like...
Different answers then, so I went Carlos Sainz.
Just to be interested, maybe.
I feel like...
I honestly have no idea. I think it's
one outrageous point I'm going to say is I feel like before Mercedes start winning again, Hamilton will have retired.
That's part of it as well. I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance Hamilton leaves.
You went Norris, yeah? Is that it, boys?
Yeah, should we do our predictions for the Suzuka Grand Prix? Okay, we are back. We've all decided on our top 5s. Who wants to go first? Or actually, should we do 5th place first? Who have you got, Mai?
I've got Piastri.
I also have Piastri.
I have Lewis Hamilton. P4?
Russell.
Norris.
Piastri for me. P3?
I have Leclerc.
Hamilton.
Carlos Sainz. And then P2. Who are you saying?
Norris.
I have Leclerc.
I also have Norris, which is probably a bad sign that I'm going with Matty, but we move. And then P1. If you say Ocon, I'm walking out. SAINZ again.
What's happened to
Ooh.
Max?
What?
Well,
No,
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, Max Verstappen, he's going to be back on it. Can't see
No.
him. Can't see him off the pace again.
He could start
I
in.
believe this is the downfall of Red Bull.
Oh, that's a big statement.
Get your monsters out.
Do you think?
No more Red Bull.
Who's winning the champ? Is it not going to be Max winning the championship this season? Then?
Have you won it the first race?
Yeah,
He won it as soon as he put the pedal to the metal.
he did. He did.
He's going to win by about 50 seconds. He could start in Fuji and still win this race.
Starts at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Still win the race. Yeah, so that's our predictions. Let us know what you thought. And I feel like we've gone through quite a lot in today's episode. It's so good to be back in the studio, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's such a change of pace. I feel like we can actually properly converse with each other about this stuff, which hopefully improves the quality of these videos. But thank you very much for watching. If you stayed this far, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Follow us on our socials. We've got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter as well. Thank you very much for watching.